you have your system there, you have to pick your system, right? So there's the simple rules, right? So like when you're listening, so what were we listening today? Like stock strat, what is it called? Like stock strategy or stock? What'd you listen to today? Hmm. Well, it's not done dumping. I mean, it's not. No, I mean like it's not done pumping yet. Like every candle has a pullback, right? Maybe that's kind of like the understanding. Maybe that's how like maybe that's a different way to say it, right? So every well, no, every candle, right? Okay, so like right here, here's your 3 minute candle, right? The 3 minute candle. Oh no, no, look at your chart. Go to look at are you on a computer? Are you looking at a chart? Okay, look at your 3 minute. Okay. There's a candle right here on your 3 minute. This candle that just came in pumped. It went up 1%. Yeah, yeah, it went up 1%, and then it came all the way down a 0.5%, right? So now this is what I'm talking about. Here's your 3 minute RSI, right? So I'm not even thinking about, hold on. Right, right, right. But here, you have to start, you need to start in a basic understanding of how like how the basics are, right? So the, okay, hold on. Yeah, yeah, hold on. I'm gonna pull it. Okay. Yeah, yeah. All right. So where's so what were you, all right, you're charting on the 4 hour. Yeah, yeah, I'm looking right at it. What do you want to show me? Hmm. Well, so what is the yellow line? Okay, off of like so what off of what? Oh, okay. So you're talking about so what you so okay, all right, all right, all right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's what I was asking. I was kind of like I'm asking like as far as like when you're putting it together there, um, like where are you pulling your support and your resistance from? That's kind of what I was looking at. All right, so hold on. Let me. Okay, so you put something where you just figured it would be like something a good area. Okay, so here yeah, yeah. Let me show you kind of like an ideal. Hold up. Mhm. Okay, so here let's run through the basics first, right? Just so we can get a ground set. Very first thing is that we have the relative strength index, right? The RSI. So when you well, yeah, yeah, now just focus on the smaller time frames, right? So momentum starts with the lower time frames, and then they build into the bigger ones, right? The bigger ones, yeah, the bigger time frames are kind of like the drag, right? The weirdest thing about the biggest time frames are the lower they are towards the bottom, like when they get past the 50% line and get towards the 20, that's when they become their most, powerful, because at that point it's like a water balloon, right? It starts filling up with more water. The bigger the balloon, the more the pull, right? So when they first start heading down, they don't always have the greatest pull because they're just starting off, right? So it's just kind of like when you see uh, a 1 hour bend down, right? That's the beginning of weakness, but it doesn't mean it's going to last, right? Because it's kind of like this. It's like a domino. When you see the one start to go down, then you need the 45, then you need the 30, then you need the 15, then you need the 5, right? And the more of them that happen at the same time, the stronger the pull, right? So if they're taking, yeah, so when you have a time frame where it's like they're taking time to develop, well, that just lets you know that, at that point, it's layers. There's going to be levels. There's going to be pullbacks and pumps, pullbacks and pumps. So what we want to do here is, before you, like, you know, what's the leverage you normally use? 50? Okay. So let's do something like, let's move up to something like 65 or 70, okay? And yeah, but you wanna, when you jumped in that trade, the 3 minute was actually going up, right? So that was kind of like the downfall of the trade. Okay. So yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. See, here's the thing. The very first thing you have to do is get a structure of a system that you're going to follow, right? So the first thing is when you made the short trade, the 3 minute RSI was only halfway up, right? It hadn't bent yet. It hadn't started going down, right? So that's something that, you want to be in a situation where, at least, whether the RSI or on the moon graph, you want the price action, the orange line, to be heading down. So you need something, no, right? Because it's getting there. It's building momentum. Now you have a 2 minute red trend. You see that? I don't know if you have our full indicators, but yeah. Every pump has a pullback, right? Every pump has a pullback. Yeah. So we have 2 minute. I can see a 2 minute red trend right now. Now I don't know if you. No. It's just a reminder, right? Just letting you know. So you can see there's momentum starting to build here, right? So right now you have a 1 hour, right, that's heading down. Okay, so I think what happens here is, a lot of times when I'm telling you guys something, you guys miss the important things that I'm saying. The very first thing you have to do is have a set structure of how you trade, right? And that comes down to this: trade with the 3 minute RSI on your entries and for your trade, right? Use the higher time frames of the higher RSIs as guides to momentum that's currently happening, right? So when you made that trade and the 3 minute was still going up, that's a mistake. Like, that should be like an easy way to be in a situation that you're not in that trade. The only way that you could take the trade would be if the 3 minute RSI started coming down. You see what I'm saying? That's where you would get into your trade to give you any type of chance, right? So that's the first thing. Yeah, Every candle has a bounce. Well, you have to look at everything else. But first things first here is that if my 3 minute RSI is towards the bottom here, right? Now remember, I told you the RSIs get stronger once they break to the bottom. So the 3 minute getting to the 20 line, right. Just don't worry about the trade, bro. I'm trying to teach you something. All right. Every RSI, when it breaks past the 20 line, gets heavier. Okay. So this is going to have a drag on this next candle, right? And that's going to eventually have a bounce. Now, in order to decide if this is a short position, right, we have to move towards the trades. So what are trades for the shorts, right? So minimum, right, minimum on our shorts are the 15 minutes. So you need a 15-minute moon, right, to think of a short, just like on a long, right? So those are kind of like the two beginning trades, 15 and 30 minutes. So those are the trades that you would be considering, right? So right now we have a 3 minute pushing down, and it's obviously going to, it needs to push back up after that. So let's take a look at the overall setup here. So first thing is I want to find out if this trade equals into a 15-minute or a 30-minute trade, right? So let's take a look at the overall scenario for Doge, right? So the first thing I'm going to look at here is I want to know what my trend is, right? How do we tell what a trend is? Like which direction it's going? Well, no, you should be looking at. So do you have our indicators? Okay, that's yeah. So you don't. Alf never. Where's the? You should have indicators on the top. All right, let me see what you have here, bro. Yeah. So you need. Yeah, but you never got the ones from Alf, did you? That's what we. So I mean, you kind of have. Let me see. Let me see what you got here. All right. Okay. So let's. You have your RSI. That'll work. Okay. That'll work there. Okay. All right. So here. All right. So now, if I go to Doge, right, I can see now that we're starting to get where we possibly could have a pullback, right? But that's gonna start off where we're gonna need the 3 minute RSI to bounce, right? Right. So that's kind of where we're at now. So 3 minute RSI is hitting the bottom. Now we're starting to get a push up here, right? So this is where we're gonna, if we're getting into a short, you want to have a defining movement, then a retrace, and then a movement. So every trade works like this, right? There's a move, a retest, and then the enter, right? So there's always two moves, right? So the short that you're looking for right now has to have a beginning move, right? Which is kind of what we just saw. You seen that first move down? This is the first time that we've had a little bit of a 3 minute red moon, right? So go look at your Doge and look at your other 3 minute red moon. Now the other three red moon had a pullback and then made a big run off the next green moon, right? So now that the 1 hour is heading down, it means that we're at the point where there's some weakness here, right? So the bounces should be less. Like right now, you see how your 3 minute bounced right there? And you had an entry point. Okay. So that's going to let you know right there that there's so much momentum on the upside right now, right? That Doge is looking to push again, right? So first thing is identifying a trend, right? So to identify a trend, go to your 4 hour and you'll see that it's green, right? Green trend on your 4 hour. You'll see that you also have a 2 hour green trend, right? So the four and the two dictate you know, the trends, right? You want them to be together in what they have, and they kind of let you know what's happening. So even though the 4 hour or the 2 hour RSI is at the top, you don't have a full short or a pullback until you have like a 4 hour, you know, headed down, right? So the way to look at it is like this. So every RSI, when it starts to move down from the 1 hour down, you know, is going to have a trade possibility. Now, based on volume, right? Volume is key here. That'll let you know where you're at, right? So if I looked at this current Doge, I go to my 1 hour, and on the moon indicator, I can see my volume, right? There's lines that go across, right? And one of the lines is called that when you get down to the level of a 4.5, right? Something in that area, 4. That we don't even think about doing shorts until the volume has found its way to towards that line. Yeah, no, until at least the 1 hour is in by that 4. But if you're starting on the lower time frames, the only way that this would be a short is if the 3 minute had negative value. Does the 3 minute have negative value? When's the last time the 3 minute had negative value? Yeah, it's been a while, right? Ah. So when you went to do your short earlier, right? And this trade is kind of like in the middle of a trade, right? So it's like this is where understanding what you're picking or what you're looking for is going to be a little bit different, right? So this trade is already kind of like happened here, but so when you look for negative volume, it wasn't until, you know, three, actually, let me take a look here. So on the 3 minute, negative volume didn't exist until, let's see, we went positive volume today at, what time is that? 9:50? What would be 22? Be 11, right? 22 be 11. 22 would be 10 o'clock, right? Now 11. 24. I'm too tired to be going through all this. All right, so what we have is the do 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 do. So 10 o'clock, yeah. So 9:30. So about 9:30, there was negative value, and then we got a green moon on the 3 minute, right? And that's where we got positive volume again, right? And then that's where, you know, we're kind of at with this pump, right? That pump, if you look at your 3 minute, right? So looking at your 3 minute, all right, because maybe we're just starting in the wrong direction. So let's start with the 3 minute, and we can see right here that the 3 minute is, you know, when you're going back all the way back, you can see where the positive volume was, right? Green moon, green trend, positive volume. So that is a trade, right? How did that trade happen, right? So that trade happened like this: 3 minute green moon, 3 minute positive volume, 3 minute green trend, right? So moon trend volume, right? That creates a trade. Now, you can see is when the 3 minute trend happened, notice how the 3 minute had a push up, it pulled back, and then it went on a run. You see how it kind of made its move there? So there's always there's always, right, room for a pullback. So hold on, let me 1 sec here. Give me 1 second, brother. Do 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 do. All right. You hear me, brother? How about now? You hear me now? Can you hear me? Yeah, yeah. All right, so basically what you have is just look at that 3 minute. So 3 minute moon, 3 minute positive volume, 3 minute trend. That's a trade, right? There's always a push up, there was a pullback, and then that's where that lets you know that, you know, you're in a good spot. Now, if you watch the 3 minute, you can see here that there was a push, a pull, a push, a pull, a push, another pull, and then here we're in the middle of another push, right? So you can see where yeah, this would be a trade right now on if you're playing the longs on, Doge, right? But you're already this trade happened back at 9498, right? We're at 984, right? So this trade is mhm. Yeah, the cost. Yeah, yeah. Go back to the 3 minute. Look at the time here. Let me share my screen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So hold on. Go to your hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna go back in there. Hold on. All right. So see the 3 minute, you see that moon when the volume was below negative? Yeah. Next one. So that's red. That's a red moon. Go to the green. Yeah, right there. Yep. So that trade happens because there's a green moon, there's a green trend, and there's positive value, right? So that's how every trade works. Okay. The difference is higher time frame trades have more volume, so they give you the price action or the percentages that you're looking for at a higher rate, right? There's no guarantee here that if this 3 minute moon hits, how much percent we're gonna get. You see what I'm saying? We don't have that. Right? So that's why we operate on higher moons. Like we want a 15 minute and a 30 minute moon because that'll be higher percentages, right? So what you have to start understanding is that every trade is the same. It's a moon, a trend, and volume. Okay. So this particular trade here on the 3 minute has already happened. There's already been a moon, there's already been positive volume, and there's already been a trend, right? Yeah, it's not going to go up. So now, uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, but see that there's trades here. There's the trades are these, right? Moon, trend, volume. Those are trades, okay? The 3 minute is already done. So now go to your 5 minute. Is there a 5 minute trade? Go to your 5 minute. So do you see where you can get a 5 minute trade? Well, yeah, yeah, so I don't want to worry about the hold on. I have a pop up for you. All right. So what I'm looking at is this. Is there a 5 minute moon, a 5 minute trend in positive volume somewhere? Where's it at? Right. So that trade already happened, right? Okay. So now let's move to the 15 minutes. So that trade's not going to happen. So move to the 15. Okay. Now we're looking for a moon, positive volume, and a trend. Did that trade happen yet? No, no, that moon's way that's late. That's a late one. Go find the yeah, yeah, just bear with me. Bear with me here, right? Now this so you understand what you're doing. You just don't understand how it works, right? Like you're on the trade. You know this is a short, right? But you don't know how to identify when it is a short, right? Now, when you do longs, right, there's trades that are in the longs, right? So what I want you to do is take your mouse and go back 3 green moons. Go to the original green moon that had, keep going, right there. That's the first green moon, right? That had green moon, positive volume, and trend. Go down. Find that next one. Go to the next one. Right there. Go down, go down. That moon right there, right where you are. No, no, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. Go to your right. Go to your right. Go to your right. Go to your right. Go right, 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 right. Keep going. Keep going. Moon. Right. Oh, you missed it. Go back. Next moon to your left. The next. That's red. Go to green. Right there. Moon. Trend. No. Find your trend. Go to the moon. It goes moon trend volume. That's a green moon, right? Okay. Yeah. So that's a moon, right? No. That's green. It's just behind the red. So what you need to do is you can go into the settings and you can make those things go to style. All right, I would have to figure out. All right, go to let's see here. All right, you see those green and red levels? Go down right under the black box. Should be those. Yeah. Click on that green. Yeah, click on that. Let me see if that. Yeah, click on it. All right, make that. Yeah, slide that to the left a little. Let me see if that's it. No, that's not it. All right, so get out of that one. So what we're looking for here is go down to that next level down there. Go to red, make the occupancy, move it to the, there you go. All right, and get the, yeah, let me see. Yeah, go to the next, go up to the next plot, go up to the top, next green and red right there. Make them also lighter. Keep going up, 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 up. Now the next ones. Yeah, go in there. Let's see if those adjust it. And what we're looking to do is that we're trying to change the color of the, there we go. Okay. So you can mess around in there. What you want to do is get it to where you can see the moons, right? So that's not a red moon. That's a green moon behind red mountains. And how you can tell what that is you can go to you can see that 2 red moons aren't gonna print in a row. So like when you see the moon before that, you can tell that it's red. So when you get a chance, go in there and mess around until you figure out which one of those make those colors lighter, okay? Uh, so let's get back into what we're looking for. Yeah, that's your green moon. Okay, so there's a green moon. Now you need a trend, right? Where's your trend? Find the trend up top, trend. Boom. Positive, right? Positive volume, right? That's what we're looking for. Now you're looking for positive volume. Okay, there you go. Now there's going to be now this is where you start looking for moves to the up, and you're looking for moves to the up, and then they're going to pull back, right? And that's normally where you want to start getting your entries, right? So you see how it had that big push up, that candle on the trend, right? Right there. Yep. Then it pulled back, and that's when you did its pullback is where you want to get your entry for that next move, right? Now these trades happen. Mhm. Okay, well open that up, spread that open, go to the numbers to the right and make it taller. Yeah, there you go. All right, now go get your measuring tool. Now let's see what the percentage is. Long position, you're right there. You had it. So okay, now you would go. All right, go up. Now that's not the one we want there right there, but that's okay. So what we want is, yeah, yeah. So go to the bottom of the red candle. So that's fine right there. Pull the bottom up to the bottom of those red candles. So you see you see that big green that you're next to? Pull it to the bottom of the second green to the left of it. Yeah. Okay, what right there? What's the bottom of it? Push it up a little. You're not gonna have the greatest entry. So you're gonna say you have a bad entry, right? So pull it up. Okay. What's that percent there? Okay, so that's 1%, right? So if you would have tracked that pullback, right? Because you had that first pullback that had a red candle that did a long wick, then the next candle pulled down as well. So if you were tracking that and you would have got in at that bottom of that one green candle, you got a 1% move, right? So if you're doing a 75x, right? Or even a 50, but you want to say about 60, I'd say the average is about 65 to 70. I like 70, 75, right? So if you preset your target, right? And you would have put in there an entry and you would have got that entry, you had three entry points there. If you got the worst one, you would have got a 1% move. If you had your leverage at 65, 70%, or even 75, let's just say 70, then that would be a 70% move, right? But your target would have been profit. You would have set your profit to take profits at 50% automatically. And then you would have moved your stop loss accordingly. Mm, yeah, you can go lower, but I mean, that's a 1% move. So if you have a 75x or 70, that's 70%. So if you were to set your target for, let's just say, take profits at 30 to 45, right? 30 to 45, you would hit your 30 to 45, right? So setting targets about 45%, that's an easy win. 45%, right? And if you're watching that trade as your stop loss, as you're starting to move your trade, then what you do is you just start moving your stop loss up and you keep it. As soon as you get to 27, you go to 20. And then when it gets to, above 40, you move to, 25. And when it gets to 50, you move to 30. And then when it gets to 60, 70, you move to 50. So anyway, it went there. You should have either hit your target for 45 or 50% gains. And, so those little bitty moves, you can make your gains on, but you have to set your profits. Now, after that move happened, right, you know that you're in a trade where it's building momentum, right? So if you would have stayed with that trade, right, and you would have saw that it went to a red moon, right, you would have known that as volume started to build up there, if you're watching your RSI, see your 15-minute RSI, see how it bends down and then pulls up right there. So it starts to go down. So you're waiting patiently. Yeah, you follow that RSI down, and when it starts to bend up, you start looking for entries. So when that one gets down to the bottom, you start looking for an entry there, right? And the entry, yeah, it starts to go down, right? Because you already made your money. You were in that first trade. That first trade ended. Now the RSI is headed down. So now you need to let that RSI head down, right? Because it's against you. So now you would wait it out, right? You'd wait it out there, and then eventually, as it goes down, you would be looking for the bounce, right? So keep going down to the bounce. Now that first trade, right? Even though it's a mistake of a trade, because at that time the RSI was heading down on the 15-minute, right? So even if the RSI was heading down, you still would have hit a trade there, but the real trade would have been waiting for the RSI to pull back on the 15-minute, right? And that's the trade right there that you would want to get into. The very first time would be that trade. And then you would continue to the next RSI pullback and you would enter. Now you're not going to do shorts on this on the pullback because you're in a long trade, right? So right now the 15-minute is positive volume. It's working its way up. So what you would be doing is every time you hit your trade on that RSI bounce, you would get into the next trade on the next RSI bounce, right? So you see how that first trade hits that big candle, right? So you would gate that's I mean that little bitty candle right there is a 1% move. So I already know the next candle that all them other candles are 2, 3, 4%, right? We're not looking for 2 or 3, 4%. We are looking for very simple moves that make us 30 to 40% profits. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're looking for 30. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like you have to get to the where um you're following this system, right? So that way you're not second guessing yourself or looking at different scenarios, right? So let me rotate this over. Okay. So it always comes down to a very simple setup, right? And this is how you can find a trade. When you're in a long trade, right? And a long trade starts with 15-minute trend, moon trend, and positive value, right? You can use the RSIs to get into the trades and move them up until that trade becomes negative, right? So right now, Doge hasn't become a negative trade yet because why? Positive value. You don't even have a 15-minute red moon yet. See what I'm saying? So the trades can't reverse. Yeah, then remember the bigger time frames, like I said, man, they get stronger as they get lower, right? Okay, so you got to realize that bigger time frames are reacting off of, and it's starting to move up. So the bigger time frames are reacting off of, you know, how much volume started with them, and then how much volume they're later with, right? So even though it starts to move downwards, doesn't mean that that's the beginning of like the downside of it. It just means that from earlier processing. When the RSI bends up, right? On your 15-minute? Well, yeah, yeah. So if you were going to get that 3 minute, yeah, you would have got that 3 minute when it hit the bottom. See how your 15 minutes bending? But this is where you have to pick your steps, right? Are you jumping the 3 minute moon, or are you waiting for the 15 to show positive strength, right? So I want you to look at that price. The price was 98.60, right? Now it's going to pull back because it always pulls back, right? So now you have to decide, okay, if I'm getting in this trade, right? But yeah, but that you have to find you have to find your steps, right? Don't worry about the trade. There's going to be 1,000 of these trades where we 24 hours a day, crypto doesn't go anywhere, right? So now the thing you have to understand is like, what are your steps here to this trade, right? So go back to your 15, right? And on the 15, that's what you're operating off of. You're operating off the 15-minute, right? Now, you see up above how the 15-minute price action started to head up after that candle? Go to the moons. Go down a little bit right there. Yeah, you see the top line pull down? Follow that line to the right. See how it came down and see how it started bending up, right? That is your trade. Okay? Now, once you see that happening, right, you can move to the 3 minute. And since you've seen a 3 minute sitting in that good position, that would have been your go ahead. The RSI was on its move. But that's what you have to start getting to, is where you understand your trade, right? The trade happens on the 15-minute. The entry happens on the 3. So once that 15-minute bent for you, then you could have been like, oh, let me jump to my 3. And then you jump to your 3-minute RSI and then you make your trade, right? But you have to have a, yeah, 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 yeah. It's gonna have, these crypto goes up and down all the time, man. This is where you have to start learning how to pick a solid entry, right? So what you're looking for is how long can Doge keep going up, right? Because eventually it's got to come towards an end or whatever. But we're kind of in a middle bull run here. But so all the shorts will get shorter and the longs will be better. So you have to start changing your mentality to where you're looking longer than shorter right now because the market's pumping, right? So, but you have to start. Oh yeah, I mean we're probably gonna make way more than that, but at the end of the day, it's like what is follow this, follow a step, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to start understanding that you're operating off of a 15-minute time zone, right? 15 and 30 is where you want to live, okay? 15 and 30. The 3-minute is where you get your entries once you decide on what you're doing, okay? So now we have a 3-minute pullback. It's gonna fight its position. People are gonna take profits. Go back to your 15-minute. So what you have to start doing is you have to start, deciding that when you're making trades, you're making them off the 15-minute. It doesn't matter how many candles pumped from one red moon to the green. All that matters is when you have your green moon that you get into the trade that you're supposed to get into, right? And there's going to be multiple of these trades happening. Like that's kind of like the best part about it, right? It's going to keep happening, right? So you have to kind of follow your steps. So for you, right, this trade all started when there was a 15-minute moon, a 15-minute trend, positive volume. And then once it started getting more positive volume, every time the RSI came down and started going up, you were looking for longs. See what I'm saying? That's kind of like that's your system, right? That's the basics, right? And that's kind of where we have to start. So now when you look at something, you don't look at 1,000 different things. You look at a 15-minute RSI. It pulls up, it comes down, price action starts to move to the upside. Then you can pull the trigger on a trade, right? But it's the same thing. So that one trade right there is already kind of like the 3-minute RSI already pushed up. So what do we need to happen? If the 3-minute RSI pulls down and the 15-minute continues to go up, then you will pull the trigger on the next 3-minute bounce, right? But what I want you to get good at is finding and being the guy who gets the first 15-minute moves, right? Because no matter what, they always have to take profits, okay? So it doesn't matter where you're at on the trade, it's got to have some profits taken eventually, and or it needs to consolidate at some point where the RSIs will all come to the bottom and then they'll start their run again. So no matter what happens, that has to happen, right? So for you, you need to get your basic steps down. 30-minute, 15-minute, right? Those are your areas. You want to operate with 15-minute moons, 15-minute trends, 15-minute positive volumes. And then you work the RSI as they go up and down. Okay? And that's kind of like the key to it all. Right? Honestly, if you were sitting there and you got into an entry, right? And you work where am I? You've been disconnected. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. You hear me now? There you go, bro. There you go. So now, yeah, I got you, man. You hear me? Can you hear me now, bro? Yo, 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 you hear me? Yo, we can hear you, bro. Can you hear me? BK. Yo, what's up, man? You hear me? What is this disconnected? There we go.